So as I said before, welcome to this year's Founders Day Assembly, celebrating the 140th birthday of our school. Although Founders Day usually involves celebrating the birthday and history of our school, I see it as a great opportunity to reflect on the current issues we are facing as a school and find ways to continue to improve our school every year. As was reinforced by Carlos last week on Wednesday, we're currently facing a very important issue on how our boys treat women or those a part of the LGBTQ+ community. But I feel that it is not due to a particular dislike or lack of respect for these groups, but rather the false standard of the way we treat others different to ourselves, set by the way we treat and support students in our own school. Right now, the culture between students at Boys High can be very difficult for those boys who are not somewhere involved in our most common extracurricular activities, and instead choose to pursue interests in other extracurricular activities, such as drama or debating. This is the same for all boys who show any significant difference to the majority of boys in our school. I'll give you a few examples. A few years ago, one of our students had bravely stepped up to take a soloist role in our song for prize giving at the end of the year. Instead of praising this boy for helping us out and celebrating his unique talents, our boys decided to make this boy feel so uncomfortable that he no longer wanted to perform on stage. Another example is a story of a family of multiple sons, with the eldest sons having passed through Boys High and greatly enjoying their overall experience. However, the parents decided not to send their final son to Boys High. The reason behind this decision was because he was gay. And because of this difference that he had, his parents didn't feel Boys High was right for him. I want you to think about this. Is that the reputation you want our school to have? As some of you may have noticed, last week I wasn't at Assembly. From Wednesday to Friday, I was in Auckland on a conference for the head boys of boys' schools around New Zealand. Over those 3 days, I had the opportunity to get to know other head boys and talk about issues that each of our schools are facing and discuss what we could do to fix them. After getting to know them, I realised another effect of our current culture among Boys High students. Not only were many of the boys I met while I was away captains of their school's first 15, but they were also captains and leaders of their school's drama, debating and choir groups. This led me to a realisation. Do you boys think it is a coincidence that I cannot name a single first 15 or first 11 player that is involved in debating or drama for school? Or do you think that it could instead be the result of those boys, or any boys in our school, avoiding opportunities like these even though they may be interested, as they are worried about the judgment or comments from boys in our school? So what are we going to do? How are we going to fix this issue between our own students so that we can set a far better example of how to treat others different to ourselves? So when it comes to people with the most obvious differences, such as women or those a part of the LGBTQ+ community, we refrain from making comments or remarks that are hurtful to them, just because we are used to doing the same with our fellow students. At the end of his speech, Carlos mentioned our solution: to take 5 seconds of courage to take a stand when someone we know is doing something that is not acceptable, with no worry for the reaction of our peers. Trust me, if boys see that you are seriously passionate about what you are saying, they will only gain respect for your strength to take a stand. Another part of this 5 seconds is to take 5 seconds to think about the comment you are about to make. Think about the value that it is adding. Is it beneficial? Or are you making this comment in a desperate attempt for your mate's acknowledgement? Remember that the boys who make these types of comments are the most insecure about whether they fit in themselves. I know fixing this issue is something that we are all capable of, and I've seen examples of boys showing 5 seconds of courage in this hall. At the assembly at the end of last term, there were 2 examples that I can think of straight away. To the boys who are sitting on the second floor on my left-hand side of the hall during that assembly, thank you for taking the 5 seconds of courage to be the first 2 to stand, along with me and the staff, to support the bravery and the message of Lucas's speech and initiate a standing ovation from all the boys who were in the hall. This is a great example of one 5-second act leading to a great outcome for all of the boys in our school. Another example was about halfway through Lucas's speech, when some of our Year 9 boys decided to begin to joke and laugh about the topic Lucas was speaking about, even though all of the staff and I could see them. Almost instantly, one of our monitors, Blake Hickford, turned around and stopped the behaviour of those boys. This is not only a perfect example of what taking 5 seconds of courage means, but it is also a perfect example of the type of behaviour that we expect from our monitors. So if that is a role you aspire to have in the next few years, this is the type of behaviour you need to display. Boys, I hope you can see how seriously we're taking this issue. I hope that after me and Carlos' speeches, you can see the changes we need to make, as well as understand and agree with the reasons why. Our issues towards our respect of women and those a part of the LGBTQ+, stems from our issues towards respect and treatment of peers at our school. We are setting a false sense of what is an acceptable way to treat and talk about other people, and this is what needs to change. Aotearoa.